Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual program, the Target Individual Experience. Um, so as you guys know, like I said, I do this video to show my experience in this criminal coercive persuasion program, this non-consensual human experimentation program, and to expose what's being done, not just on the psychological level, but also the physical level, in terms of being microchipped and being hit with direct energy weapons, microwave signals. One such technology is called silent sound spectrum, which I talk about a lot. And then the psychological aspect of it, being put into a coercive persuasion program in order to discredit, villainize, and to destroy the life of the non-consensual experimentees who refuse to remain silent about what is being done. I was just trying to find the right words to say. That's why the long pause. And this never ends. This is 24/7, 365 days a year. They will retaliate against you for speaking out. They will retaliate against you if you don't interpret the silent subliminals the correct way. And not also they will retaliate against you, but they will retaliate against you by harming your loved ones. Uh, Recently, my son Ethan was pushed off of a wall that he was sitting down on um, in the schoolyard. Fell on his face, so he had, uh, uh, he was hurt. He had bruises on his forehead, uh, on the side of right here, and goes to like this from his glasses that he was wearing. He had a bruise right above his upper lip and the side of his face. His hands were bruised up, and the school decided not to call me or his mom, and he went to the nurse office, and the nurse didn't call me or his mom. The nurse could have took him to the office and said, "Hey, uh, somebody needs to call his parents to let them know what happened." So after school, his mom received a call explaining what happened. But this was after school. Okay, he was at lunch when this little girl, who was supposed to be his friend, uh, pushed him off of the wall. He was sitting on the ledge, or what they were saying is that he had one knee like in a bent position, which is even worse because he had no way of using his hand to, uh, you know, stop the impact of the fall, and that's why he landed on his face on the side of his arm. And these people in the school, PS6, here in Brooklyn on Bedford Avenue and Snyder Avenue, these people within the school, okay, like I said, when I go there, the faculty members, they target me. Um, you know, they decided that they're not going to call his parents, which is, his mom and I. And so when I went to pick him up from after school and I saw his face, I was pretty upset. And because they treated it as if it was nothing. Oh, he's all right, he's fine. Because he's not, because when he got home, his hands was hurting. Even when he got up this morning, he said that he was not going to go outside to recess because his arm hurts. Okay, and so I went there this morning, and they're trying to tell me that it was an accident, and I said, don't use the word accident because it's not an accident. Okay, when someone decides to push someone off of a wall, okay, it is off of a ledge. It is not an accident. Okay, an accident is like if we're running and we bump into each other because we're playing and we didn't see each other. That's an accident. Okay, if I trip over your foot as I'm walking or I'm running, that's an accident. But to literally go up to someone and push them off of a ledge or a wall that they were sitting on, and then want to turn around and call it an accident, that's not an accident. Okay, and uh, speaking to Mr. Brown, and he's like, "Well, that's what Ethan said." I said, "Okay, but you know what? These are adults." Okay, so if he says it was an accident, he's a child. That's his friend. He's going to say it was an accident. And again, in this program, these parents who engage in this type of behavior will get their kids to engage in this type of behavior. And I believe that this little girl's parent, okay, instructed her to harm my son. And when she saw the opportunity, she took it. Okay? And so I had to this morning I had to tell the vice principal and Mr. Brown, who was the I guess the safety officer at the school, or the safety person, the person in charge of safety in the school, that you know you don't use the word accident, because it's not an accident. Okay, and I had to tell them the story about this girl who pushed her friend off the bridge. Okay, and her friend almost died. Okay, now if we call that an accident, that means that anybody can push somebody to their death or seriously injure them and claim that it was an accident. Okay, but again, this is what they do to me and my kids, uh, by engaging in these type of bullying tactic, this physical assault tactics, and then want to claim that it's an accident, or they say they're sorry, and they're not sorry. Okay, because before they were using the boys to bully him, and that stopped because I had to put my foot down and you know go to the school numerous times to talk about that issue. And now the last two times he got into an incident was with girls. So now they're using girls, and I think they figure, well, they're girls, so you wouldn't hit them back. But I already told them. I said, listen, I don't care if it's a boy or girl. If they are bothering you, they're hitting you, you tell them to stop. You go to the teacher, you tell the teacher what happened. The teacher doesn't do anything, and these boys and girls continue to hit you and try to bully you. You have every right to defend yourself, and you will not get in trouble with me. Okay, so that's what happened yesterday. And let me just show a picture of Ethan's face, because I did take a picture of it. Um, okay, so if you look up, and it actually doesn't look that bad in this picture because when I took it, uh, the flash, but you can see the bruise above his left side, above his eyebrows, and if you look below his eyes, you see that line. That's from his glasses. That's to tell you how hard he felt. He fell on his face. Okay, you can see on his nose here, and also um, right above his upper lip, right under his nose, you see a bruise there too. His hands was bruised up, and I should take pictures of his hands. And and like I said, they took him to the nurse, but they didn't tell Mr. Brown, who is the person in charge of safety, and he's at lunch. He's the one that is outside with the kids at lunch, but no one told him. Why is that? Why is it that they did not bring it to his attention? Why is it that they told him after school was over? Okay? Why is that? So again, when these people do these things, They're very strategic about what it is that they do. Okay, so there's a reason why they didn't tell Mr. Brown what happened to Ethan. There's a reason why they waited till after school to tell him. And Ethan was, he had to go to after school. Okay, okay. So like I said, there is a reason. So, I had to go to the school this morning and again speak to the vice principal. And even when the vice principal saw it yesterday, she took pictures. She said, "I didn't know." You know, I mean, it was serious enough that she took pictures of his face because she saw it. And now this morning, she was trying to downplay it. Okay, so I asked her to speak with the girl's parents, and so I have a meeting with uh, the parents today at 2:15. And so, as I left the building, actually, when we were talking, you saw hearing the police sirens, the ambulances. You know, After I left out the school, turned to walk the intersection, police car, driving, turning slowly, very slowly, with synchronization again. So, you know, this is what they do. And so, I should have recorded it, but, you know, I left out the meeting and, didn't think to pull up my phone and record it. Uh, but, I'll be more alert and aware next time so that I will do exactly that. Okay, so now let's talk about the weekend leading up to the events of yesterday. And on Saturday, uh, we had to go to Macy's. Um, Pamela had to bring back some stuff. Uh, so this is us in the car, and we are approaching the intersection. I stopped at the intersection, and this car approached, and the guy stopped, and he got out of his car, left his car door wide open. Okay, wide open, right? Okay, now see as the light change, you'll see there's a guy across the street. He turns and he looks at me. Then the guy comes and gets back in his vehicle. Okay, and I'm not quite sure if you can see, but the passenger in this vehicle, okay, basically took her thumb and placed it on her nose. Okay, so again, this is all planned, right? All orchestrated, and so I'm not gonna bother play the rest of this video. And this was Saturday, okay? And so let's move on to this video. So after we came out from Macy's, we took our daughter Alyssa to her dance class, and then we went to the base, Fort Hamilton, to do some grocery shopping. So he showed up in the parking lot, and then this guy was across the street when when I turned into the parking lot, and he comes and he stands up right there. He takes his phone out and acted as if he was on his phone. But this is what they do. Okay, this is exactly what they do. They'll do stuff like this. Okay, and then Sunday, Saturday evening I went home, and then Sunday I was heading back over to Pam, and you'll see, not see, but Yeah, you'll actually see. You'll see a guy. He's gonna ride past on the bicycle. Let's see if I probably already missed it. So let's go. Let's do it from here. So you see the guy ride past on the bicycle. So okay, so as the guy approached me from behind on the bicycle, he does this, right? And again, I've said this before that a lot of people who engage in this type of behavior, they're from religious organizations. Because if you look at religious organizations, they are notorious for using coercive persuasion programming. Okay, and so that's what happened. All right. So let me skip past this stuff. Let's go back here and see if I can remember if anything else that happened here. Okay. So I'm approaching the intersection, and immediately, okay, so you hear the sirens, and there they go. Immediately as I came to the intersection, they because you didn't hear them before, they turn on the sirens. Okay, now I want you to also pay attention to this guy here. Okay, so when I made the turn, and I'm not trying to trigger anybody, so this is a trigger warning. He does this. All right, he's wearing the army. He's wearing a camouflage jacket and hat. Okay, you'll see him right there. Okay, now that's one incident, right? Now you would chalk it up as you know, it's nothing. Okay, but this is where you're wrong. All right, so let's go to this intersection. All right, let's go back a little bit. Okay, here we go. See that police car just passed by? Watch this. Okay, so look to the right. See this guy getting ready to cross the street? He does this. Again, not trying to target trigger anybody, just give you an example of what it is that they do. Right? So why is he doing this? Right? There's a reason why. See the NYPD vehicle driving by? Okay? This is what they do. This is what is called neurolinguistic programming. Okay? So that's twice a police vehicle. One came from behind me. Okay, turn on its sirens. Okay, I'm gonna play this over again because you're not gonna hear the siren on with this police car, and made a turn. And immediately after, you see the guy across the street pinches his nose. Now, came on upon this intersection. Okay, there he goes, pinching his nose, and there you go, NYPD driving by. Okay, so you think that's it, right? All right. So now let's get to this intersection. Okay. So you see the. All right. Let's go here and let's back slightly. Okay. All right. Now I want you to watch the woman on the left. She sticks her fingers in her ears. See that? She's wearing a black sweater. All right. Now you'll see on the right this guy in the gray shirt, gray shorts and shirt, and he's going to be, doing this to his beard. All right. Okay. You get the sirens? They've been sending me all this subliminal message. So now the woman across the street now she starts playing with her hair. Okay, there you go. Now, watch this guy. See this guy here in this car, in this white car. He has his hands out the window, and he's doing this out the window. Okay, that's what he's doing. All right. And again, strategic, right? Remember that vehicle. Okay, so making the turn. Remember that white vehicle? So he pulls over, right, to wait for me. Then when I made the turn, he drives off in front of me, and you'll see he's sticking his hand out of his vehicle like this, right? Basically making his finger like a gun, as a way of threatening me. This is, the cops is giving him instructions to do this, right? Remember I talk about how the death threats from the police officers, but they do it in a way that they're not doing the threat, but they get somebody else to do the threat in their presence. Okay, this is a little different, but you see prior the two police cars, and then with the guys, one was standing. As I turn, he does this. The other one walking across, he does this as the police car drives by. Right. So now he has his hand. There you go, making his fingers like a gun. Okay. So I pull up right here. So I did the same thing because you hear me go because I'm making my finger like a gun out the window and I'm going like this. So you want to send me these sort of subliminal threats? Fine. I'll do the same thing to you too. Like I said, when you're a TI, these things that they do to you, you do it back to them. You give them a taste of their own medicine. Okay? Okay, so you'll see he pulls over, right? See, the light is green. See, he pulls over, right? Because now he wants me to get in front of him. But, Like I said, you gotta think, you gotta be. And there he goes with the staring campaign. So he pulls over now, and now he's gonna stare at me. But what he didn't realize is that, hey, buddy, the camera's on you now. Okay, so there he goes. Okay, cowards, cowards, because you see, he didn't say nothing. All right, he just sit there in his vehicle, staring at me. All right, and let's get his license plate number. All right, so HSZ 5369. All right, white Honda Accord. The cowards. That's what they are. Okay, so take a good look at this guy. If you see him on the street, make your finger like a gun and shoot it at him. Okay. Okay. So now, we think this is over. So now the super of Pan Building, as I pulled up, he comes out. Let me see if I maybe when he comes out, right here. So pulled into the parking space. Okay. And now the superintendent of Pan's Building, he comes out, looks at me. Looks at me again. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, the retaliation, the psychological death threats, the harassment, and the intimidation by the NYPD that uh, use um, the civilian perpetrators, okay, to engage in these types of behavior. All right. So let's talk about this. The failure strategy. Okay. When a group with psychological warfare expertise targets a victim and tries to create situation, street theaters, scenarios, or event with the intention of embarrassing, humiliating, threaten, anger, induce fear, or other harmful effects, they need a strategy to deal with the failure or failures if the events in question do not produce the, the desired outcome or results. A failure of a group who tries to intentionally attack or humiliate a victim builds confidence in the victim for overcoming this challenge or properly dealing with the event in question. So there is a need to have a strategy or tactic to eliminate or reduce the confidence building phenomenon that result as such as possible that result as much as possible. One of the ways this is done is by trying to make the victim believed the false view on reality or interpretation that it was a test, a training situation, and that there was or may have been some kind of benevolent intention in this kind of action or scenarios. Okay, but I'm going to even add this. Okay, what they will then do also is to retaliate by harming your kids or your loved ones or your friends, if you have friends, if you're a TI, because most TIs don't have any friends. Okay, a few of us are very lucky to even be in any type of relationship, whether it be a friendship or with significant other or even family. Okay, and this is the things that they do. Okay, so the never-ending test. One example of the strategy or tactics is to interpret the event as a test. The result is that the victim feels the victim feel he or she is on a never-ending test, since these situations, events, and attack are usually repetitive in this kind of ongoing psychological harassment or psychological warfare. Many of these tactics can also be considered to be psychological torture or used for psychological torture. Okay, so it's the staring drill, right? So you see the guy in the car, the white Honda Accord, driving in front of me, sticking his hands out like making his fingers like a gun, and then pulls to the side so I can pass him because he's not going to look at him, right? And then staring at me, right? So this is the staring drill. So staring drills are used to intimidate, provoke, make a person aggressive, and to destabilize victims. It's linked to manipulation, credibility, and justification. One technique is to simply stare at the victim, and another is to whisper you're scared and engage in staring contests. Now, they also do this with my kids. When I'm walking with my kids, they will stare at them. Even the kids in their school, when I go to pick them up, will just stand up in front of my children and just stare at them. So this is what they've been instructed to do. Okay, this is what they do. So again, I'm just documenting what it is that these criminals are doing. These criminals within the police force, within the security agencies, who are the architect of these programs, those within government agencies and academia who participate and engage in these programs, the civilian perpetrators who participate and engage in these programs. Okay, this is what they do, and clearly these people have delusion of grandeur, because if they think that they are some type of moral police or godly God's warrior or warriors for Christ, right? They clearly, okay, if they think that they're doing good, which is not true, because again, this is how, if you really understand the Christian Bible or even the Quran, and you read the things that had happened, that God did, that God instructed others to do, it is all about committing evil, and then try to uh, make people believe that it was a good thing. Okay, and these people are acting in an evil manner while their manipulators are manipulating them into thinking that what they're doing is good. Okay, and this is how religion has been used for centuries to uh, destroy lives, to murder, to enslave people. Okay, and to teach them self-hatred. Okay, so that's it for the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. And this was a pretty short one, but uh, my last couple of videos have been pretty long.